All right, so for drawing 14, the way I would start this is I would look at the overall shape. So we have essentially an L shape with a triangle in the center. And this is a pretty common shape when you want to make a bracket that has some reinforcement. Very often what you would see is you would see something like this where there might be some mounting holes, maybe here and here and here and here. You probably have the overall bracket a little bit wider. But just for a sample drawing, you didn't really need any extra material. So the way I would do this, I would start off by drawing the L shape. So in the front view, you can see L. And then you can see this rectangle here matches up with this. This rectangle here matches up with this. So I'm going to draw that, and then we'll come back for the, what's it called? For the triangle. So starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in height, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So remember that lines in height are always going to be vertical in your isometric drawing. And because so this is the front view, we'll only see height and length. Now coming over from here, I can see it goes over 1, goes over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so remember, length is always the left side of a Y. And here I'm starting the back, so I'm going to come to the right. So from here, I go over by 1. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm going to come up. So that goes up by 1. I'm going to move my light so that my hand doesn't block it as much. So I go up by 1. Now over here, I come down by 1, 2, 3, 4. So I come down. Now I'm going to connect. And so that's going to give me the front view of that L shape. And that L shape is going to define the rest of this shape that we're drawing. I am going to draw part of it in pencil just because I want to make sure that I'm able to erase what I don't need. For you, that's not going to be such an issue because you're probably already drawing in pencil. If you aren't, I would certainly recommend it, especially for this particular drawing. So now to draw the rest of the L, I will still draw most of this in pen. I have a pretty good feel for where I can put the lines and where I can't. So I'm going to draw the depth. So I can see that coming back from here, it's 3 units. So you can see the way it lines up. So remember, depth is going to be the right side of a Y. Same thing here. So 3 units. And now what will happen is, coming back from this corner, I also have some form of depth. So I'm going to come back. I'm not going to go all the way through. Now, I actually know how far it's going to go, but I'm going to put this as a pencil line for now. And we'll come back to that in a moment. Now coming back from here, we can see it lines up right here. 1, 2, 3. And here, we can see it right there. So this gives us our L shape. I'm going to fill in what I can. So I don't have anything getting in the way here. I don't have anything getting in the way here. Now, just to show you where this is headed, we are going to end up having a line coming down from here. We're going to have a line coming over from here. We're just not going to draw it quite yet. So that's our L shape. But to finish the drawing, we have to deal with this shape in here. In the front view, you can see a triangle. And if you think about a triangle, it makes sense that here it's going to be a rectangle. So I'm going to just grab a shape to use as my example. So if I grab my USB hub, so let's say that when you're looking at it from the side, we have a triangle made up with this as our long side. And then it comes over like this and this. So what we have now is we have a right angle with this as a hypotenuse. Now what will happen is when we look at it from above, it just looks like a rectangle. But the thing to be aware of is as I do this, as I angle it up, it appears to get shorter and shorter if we're looking at it perfectly from above. And so that's what's called. And that's an important thing to keep in mind because if we take a look at the orthographic drawing, whether it's the multi-view drawing, the flat one, right here I can see the actual length of that line. This line here is actually shorter than this line. This doesn't show the correct length of it. Only this line shows the actual length. But we don't really need the length to be able to draw it. So if we take a look, we can see that from above, this looks like a rectangle. And it's centered from front to back, which means that if we were drawing this, and for now I'm going to take a look, I'm going to show you basically how we could work this out completely from scratch. And then we're going to go through and do it the better way. So I can see that on the bottom would be right over here. And coming up here, it would be like this. This, I'm going to make sure, I want to make it really clear. This is not the actual length. It's not the actual size. It's just showing the placement from front to back. Now, if you take a look at the top view, what you'll see is in the top view, you can see that going left to right, it stops right here. So 1 unit over from the side. So it stops right there. In the side view, we can see it stops 1 unit from the top. And so that gives us our endpoint. So I drew some extra lines that I wasn't going to really need, but that's okay. As you get better at this, you'll be able to look at that and be able to spot where those lines go. For now, though, you're going to need to keep this line because it's going to be visible, and this line is going to be visible, and these two lines. And let's take a look at what they match up to on the original drawing. So in the original drawing, sorry, not in the original drawing. For now, let's take a look at these lines. This line right here, that's a line that shows length. So I'm going to color that in green. This line right here is going to show height. So I'm going to color that in red. Now, this line right here is showing depth. It goes from front to back. Even if it's not all the way through, same thing here. So I'm making those blue. And now what I can do is I'm actually going to delete some of this that I don't want anymore. So I am going to put this line back in, this time in blue. And now to actually connect them, I strongly recommend that you use, even if you're freehanding along the lines, for the angles, you really should use a straight edge. Don't be like me. I can get away with doing this freehand because I've been freehanding drawings like this for a really, really long time. But don't try to freehand. It's kind of a pain to do. But there you go. So it changes in length, but it also changes in height. So I am making it both green and red. We do the same thing over here. So red for height and green for length. From there, I'm just going to do a little bit more to finish up so I can draw the rest of this slide. And I can draw the rest of this slide. And any other lines that would be there are hidden so we don't see them, we don't draw our hidden lines. So that is the end of drawing 14.